Listen, I made some mistakes back when I was young, don't we all? And I was given the decision, I can either spend 34 years in prison or I can just give up half a decade to Salient Wealth and join their research program. So I made the decision any young 21-year-old would, and I decided to become a fucking X-Man mutant. So I have been with Salient Wealth for about 10 years now. Dr. Wrightfield does a lot of genetic research on me, and I love it here. I've got some really cool, Wolverine style metacarpals now, and I'm just loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. And that leaves us with, last but not least, Scan.
I'm playing Riley Becker. I am a demolitionist working for Salient Wealth. I really just like to keep my head down and do my job. I know I'm not really close to any of you guys, but I'm just really looking forward to getting home to my kid,
Awesome. And then I will be your facilitator for the evening. My name is Snails. I look forward to everyone's journey through this adventure. Brad, how's the bot coming along?
We're all set. It turns out that, in fact, the problem was that I had not invited it to the server. But we're all set now. We are recording as we speak.
Okay.
Heads up on Lunabot. The volume permissions, we're going to be using Lunabot to play music in this playtest. The volume should be set to an acceptable level. I've done a couple of tests last night and then a couple when Reed jumped in. But everyone in here and in the audience should be able to just right-click Lunabot and adjust as necessary, up or down.
Okay.
Thank you all for being here, and I'm going to give it over to Snailzors. I'm going to be probably in here, but I will be muted just so I can guarantee that we have... I can quality assure the bot stuff. I am today's bot wrangler.
Thank you, Brad. Before we begin, I'm going to need everybody to make a luck roll and tell me your results.
Boy. And just to make sure, that's on the D12?
That is on the D12, yes.
Do we have a particular thing that we're using to roll if we don't have a physical dice, or should I just Google?
If you need a dice rolling app, we can provide you with one. But I don't think we have like a designated thing.
It's all honor system.
We should have Avray if you guys wish to. You can just do /roll in the chat and then put a D12. Yep.
Okay. So Faust, what did you roll?
Getting my D12 right now.
Oh, okay. Not a problem.
3 for me.
All right.
6.
I got an 8.
I got 4.
All right. And then did you still need a second scan?
Well, I got a 12. I was trying to figure out how to do it in the chat to do like another one because I feel like I cheated somehow.
Nah, you didn't cheat, don't worry.
No, see, Snails, you don't know this about Scandy, but she's got awful luck, so I think something must be wrong here.
Okay. Brad, if you want to get alarm status started playing, I will read the intro.
Is play.
Thank you. 5 years ago, a continental landmass arose out of an uncharted section of the Pacific Ocean. A strange island that was not beholden to any known laws of physics, playing home to creatures unlike anything the world had seen before. Your employers, the paramilitary and biotech company Salient Wealth, managed to successfully negotiate and secure an exclusive research grant from the UN to study the island, known now known as Relay. At first, it was all anybody could talk about, this strange new world, uncharted and undiscovered, even after millennia of human civilization. But gradually, that excitement waned. Attention spans ran short, and over the course of half a decade, for everybody not on the island, life simply moved on. However, for you, life has been anything but ordinary ever since you first arrived on the island. You're an edge trooper, an elite guard equipped with the most advanced technology known to science, tasked to guard Research Outpost Dryad Delta and the assets Salian Wealth keeps inside. Your commanding officer, Captain Brandon, is a tough but fair boss whom you've come to know quite well. He's away at the docks signing for a new shipment of supplies, which you are all very excited about. That leaves the responsibility of Dryad Delta as well as its 3 scientists, Dr. Sammy Patel, Dr. Roderick L. Andovich, and Dr. Alex Wrightfield, in your very capable hands. However, as this unassuming duty shift comes to an end and your bellies begin to grumble for dinner, something happens that will change the course of history forever, and you can only hope to survive it. For our first team, Roberta and Quinn, that'd be you, Reed, and Kimber. You and Dr. Andovich are having dinner in the Dryad Delta greenhouse, one of the few places on the island that legitimately resembles a place of peace. Dr. Andovich plucks an apple from a nearby sapling, and then suddenly grasps his hand to his chest, as if in immense pain. He looks over to you as though asphyxiating, his eyes behind his walrus mustache pleading for help, and pained gurgles escaping from his mouth. And then, just as you begin to panic, he stops. He points to his lab coat, smiling mischievously, and in his warm baritone voice simply says, "Apple a day, keep doctor away, no?" A moment of laughter passes between you, interrupted harshly by the static of your squad radio. A familiar, rough-hewn voice leaps from the tinny speakers, I should say. You recognize the voice immediately as Captain Grandin, the leader of your squad, only his voice sounds strained, as if he's trying to hide a sense of stress or fear. "Everyone, report immediately to the center of Dryad Station Delta. Bring the scientists. This is an Angstrom event. I repeat, this is an Angstrom event." Ah! The lights flicker, and the ground beneath you rumbles ominously. You don't know what just happened, but definitely nothing good. You do know what Angstrom event means, however. Group up and evacuate the island. It's a worst-case scenario, a cataclysmic event. Andovich looks at you with fear in his eyes, shifting his backpack as he does. He knows what an Angstrom event means too. What shall we do? And I have a handout for you two. And I will put it in the chat that we have, just off to the side. So Reed and Kimber, go ahead and read that while I move on to the next group. Group 2, outside the compound. You are outside, as usual. This is for Justin this is just for Shy and Dr. Wrightfield. You are outside, the air is damp and humid, and you can see moisture clinging to your armor as you hike through the strange underbrush. Dr. Wrightfield, a wiry man with thick horn-rimmed glasses, is crouched down over some sort of strange insectoid home, visible only in the glow of its tenant's bioluminescence. Apparently the ants here, who are the main source of food for the mammalian insectivore species that the good doctor has been studying for quite some time, build their homes in strange three-dimensional glyphic patterns, as opposed to the normal mounds. Wrightfield bends low to the ground, and a strange furry creature you've come to know as Linus darts out from the sleeve of his lab coat and starts making low, chuffed, purling growl sounds as his tentacle-like tongue plunges swiftly into the dirt and retracts covered in ants. Wrightfield exercises some restraint and manages to refrain from stroking Linus's soft fur, but you come to understand just how attached he has grown, not just to Linus, but to all the creatures native to this region of Relay. Suddenly, your radio springs to life, and you hear the same panicked message from Captain Grandin, cut off by his blood-curdling scream. Your mind races as the weight of what's happening sets in, when a loud, thunderous crack rings out overhead from an unknown source. Somewhere far, far away. Linus darts back into Rightfield's sleeve, now letting out a series of plaintive, fearful squeaks, and Rightfield's eyes search you for direction on what to do next. Which I have a handout for you as well, that I'm uploading right now. And finally, that brings us to Max, our medic, and Riley, the wrecker, in the server room. The loud, whirring hundreds of tiny fans cooling dozens of computers has become an almost soothing white noise to you. You're stationed in the server room with the head researcher of Dryad Delta, Dr. Patel, a woman with copper skin, black hair in a bun, and hands that fly across the keyboard as she inputs the day's findings. She seems entirely engrossed in the act of correlating data, and a small part of you wonders if she even remembers you're here in the room with her. Your mind starts drifting to your weekly game nights here at Dryad Delta, where Patel seems to become human once again. You look at her now immersed in her work, a focused scowl spread across her face, and it feels like looking at a twisted mirror image of the expression of confidence she wears, as she makes a masterful play that nobody saw coming, cackling wildly at your bewilderment. You're shunted back to reality by the quiet crackling of the radio receiver on Patel's desk. She twists the volume knob, and you hear Captain Grandin calling for an Angstrom-level event, before being cut off abruptly, and the signal going dead. The quiet lasts for only a moment before the lights of the server room flicker, and the loud humming of the backup generator kicking on fills the airspace. Only it feels like it's humming too loud. Then a sonorous echoing boom reverberates off the walls in the room, and the monitors at Patel's desk wobble back and forth in response. Dr. Patel looks at you with a deadly serious expression. "We're going to need to initiate a server wipe," she says matter-of-factly, before turning around and getting to work. And for you, Faustian and Scandy, I have a handout as well. If I could just... Alright. That brings us back to the greenhouse team. Reed, Kimber, did you have a chance to read over your handout?
Yeah.
Yes.
Alright. So you know that you need to gather up supplies for the upcoming evacuation out of the command center into the docks. How would you like to try and do that? There's more supplies than there are you. There is an old transport cart that you could take. However, it is currently broken down. You could try and make 2 trips. You could leave some supplies behind. There's anything you personally can think of to try and help with the situation.
So, Quinn is an engineer, and I like to think that I'm pretty good with machines also. Roberta, if you and the good doctor could maybe start gathering some stuff, I'm going to take a quick look at the machine and see if I can get it up and running, because that'll allow us to carry a little bit more than maybe we could with our hands.
Yeah, I gotta check all these pouches. You know how they are.
Okay.
Come on, Doc.
Dr. Andovich will absolutely move to help you. And he will begin stuffing rations into his backpack. Reed, go ahead and make me a roll with a target number of 8 to try and repair the card.
Okay. I got a deuce.
Oh.
The dreaded deuce. So how long have I spent not doing well?
I would say you spend a couple of minutes fiddling with the cart. It's not so much that you're not doing well. It's more that there's more to do with this cart than you originally thought. It's been sitting here for a while, and it's in much more disrepair than you had initially anticipated. You make some progress in it though, in getting it up and running. but you'd probably spend a solid 5 minutes just trying to get things moving like they should. You could attempt to do it again. You'd spend another 5 minutes.
I'm just gonna call over my shoulder that the waternator's missing, and we don't have blinker fluid. So
Did you kick it?
yeah, kicked it pretty good.
All right. Well, get over here, bring your pack, because
Yep.
if we don't have to make 2 trips, I'd rather not.
Have you guys been inspecting the packages as you've been throwing them in your bags?
I have.
Okay, Dr. Andovich?
Of course. It's protocol.
Okay, and I'm just going to chuck some in my bags and not really look at them. For
Okay.
speed.
For speed. So you will have to make 2 trips then. Is that your plan? It's just
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I would prefer to leave the doctor with the other, armed edge troopers when Reed and I come back for the rest, if that makes sense.
Of course.
Yes.
Not a problem. With that, we're going to move on to Team 2. Shai, did you have a chance to read through your little handout?
I did.
Okay, so you know that you have to rush back to the biolab with Dr. Rightfield, and now you have to account for and purge all of the specimens
Yes.
that are there.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask. So we are outside the compound right now, correct?
Yes, but you're very close to the biolab. It's only minutes away at most.
Okay. Well, I am going to usher to Dr. Rightfield. Hey, we got to get. This handbook says we have to get to the bio lab. Let's go. And as I'm heading there, I sheath my Wolverine metacarpals just in case. Because I heard that loud crack. I don't know what's going on. And I'm not about to let something happen to Dr. Rightfield.
Okay. When you return to the lab, you discover that all of Dr. Rightfield's specimens are free roaming his lab. He's he's beside himself with you, trying to kind of catch his breath. He says, we can't purge the lab. This is my life's work. You can't kill all of these specimens. They're beings with names. This is Charles, and this one is Xavier, and you see him moving between these different creatures that have way too many limbs. Some with gills that still breathe air, and you're not really sure how anything in here is still alive, but they all have a name to Dr. Rightfield.
I know that these guys are your family, Dr. Rightfield, but we got to do what Salian Wolf wants us to. And for whatever reason, I don't quite understand. We have to get rid of them.
Who would know? If it's an evacuation, who would be around to tell? No one's coming back here. We can just let them go.
We don't know what would happen if we did. We don't even know what half these creatures do, or are, for that matter.
Please. I can't stop you. But I'm begging you, do not... At least let me say goodbye. If you must purge them, at least let me say goodbye to each of them.
Avery looks at Linus, who's just hanging out with Dr. Rightfield. She sees the cute little creature and she sighs and says, "Okay, but make it quick. We have to get going."
Okay, so you're going to account for the as part of your thing. You're going to account for all of the specimens with Dr. Rightfield, and get them back into their respective cages and take the time to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. As you do, he does stop and say goodbye to each and every single one. And they all have a name. He's on the verge of tears as you exit the building. It takes you a couple of moments to begin the purging sequence, but once you do, you are free and clear to go to the central compound.
Avery stops before they leave. She looks at Dr. Rayfield, puts a hand on his shoulder, and says, I know what they mean to you, but we have to do our duty. You did the right thing. Now let's get going.
Dr. Rayfield nods, but you notice as you put your hand on his shoulder that there is a very conspicuous movement of the fabric, as though maybe perhaps a certain favorite specimen escaped the fires of the purge.
I look down at the little lump in his lab coat, and I say, we gotta get you and Linus out of here. Let's go.
And that brings us to Team 3. Let's see, Scandy, Faust, did you have time to read the thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that right now the protocol is to help Dr. Patel wipe all of the data from the compound's computer systems. And Patel is very adamant about doing this properly. However, it is a lengthy process, and it is going to take time that you may or may not have.
So first off, I'm just gonna stare at Dr. Patel with like angry eyes, be like, "Bah," and then, Riley, you're more in touch with this kind of stuff. I'll let you kind of start the sequence from the manual, but I'll do the second part of it and kind of destroy stuff by hand, you know.
You want stuff destroyed? I'll blow it up.
That is an option. You could you could perform a complete wipe the way that Dr. Patel is saying to do. You could leave it as it is and just try and convince Dr. Patel to leave it, or you could just break stuff the old-fashioned way and just try and like speed things up. It'll still take you some time, but it would definitely be faster than doing it the proper way.
I'd like to break stuff.
I'd rather ask Dr. Patel what she wants us to do.
Dr. Patel wants you to perform the full wipe, like the way that like it's supposed to be done, and she's very by the books about it. She lets you know it's according to protocol. We need to do it this way, and this is the way that we are going to do it. I'll
follow her instructions.
Okay. Then you're following instructions as well, Faust?
Yeah, I'll just do it very...
I think Faust is having connection issues.
I'll do it very half-heartedly.
Okay. You half-heartedly do it, but you follow instructions and you get to do a complete wipe, allowing you to move onto the central part of the compound. The central part of the compound is a large open room that contains congregational meeting spaces, tables, chairs, as well as emergency equipment. The room serves as sort of like a base of operations for Dryad Delta. You all arrive at roughly the same time. Dr. Andovich is left there with like one of the other teams that you got is both Roberta and Quinn run back for the remainder of your supplies. But everyone finishes at about the same time. Let's see. Is there anything you want to say to each other before we continue on?
Does anybody have any idea what is going on?
They just had me clean up some stuff in the systems, but that's pretty much all that was in the book for, with the protocol that they just announced.
I
Well-
know there's an angstrom level threat. What else is there to say? Am I right?
Yeah. Did we do everything that we were supposed to do? I just want to make sure that we covered all of our bases and we met the protocols and stuff.
We gotta hand out the rations.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Okay, so everyone has distributed their supplies. All right.
What is the next step for us? Where do we need to go?
We should
Okay. Okay,
call
sorry,
our
go ahead.
boss. Captain. We should call Captain Brandon. Can we raise him on the radio?
I don't know, but I don't even know if we still have a boss. If you heard what I heard.
I heard
Didn't
it.
sound great.
Let's give it a try. So I flip out my two-way radio and, Captain Grandin, are you there?
You don't have to roll for it. You get nothing in response but static. Whatever happened to Grandin has left him radio silent. In the best case scenario.
It sounded like death rattle. I'm not gonna lie.
Are we close by? I don't
we have-
remember.
Do we have an extraction point?
We do. Dr. Patel kind of speaks up and walks to the front, like let's see. Sorry, I've got to read aloud here. Patel looks at each of you wearing a grim facial expression before opening a nearby cabinet and rolling out a large map onto the war room table in the center of the room. You're momentarily thrown off by the analog map, having grown accustomed to Salient Wealth's digital holographic mapping systems. But in an emergency like this, you know better than to rely on modern technology. We're here, she says matter-of-factly, indicating Dryad Delta's position on the island of Relay. It's about 11:30, which means we need to get to Oceanid Ellipsion in the next 9 hours. She slides her finger across the nearby mountain range over to the location of the base on the western coast of Relay. Andovich tuts several times, shaking his head foreboding. It is a long journey ahead, he thinks aloud, shifting the weight of his backpack to the other side of his body, as he does. Which is why we need to leave now. She looks up from the map to address each of you. Troopers, gather whatever supplies you need to get us to Oceanid Ellipsion. We haven't got a lot of time, so whatever you're going to do it fast. We need to leave in 15 minutes. And then without another word, she walks away from you, leaving you to it. Let's see here. On your character sheets, you can check off regroup at the central compound as one of your goals. And you can replace it with evacuate out of Oceanid Ellipsion as soon as possible as a new goal. And while you're doing that, I have another handout for you all. At least I thought I did. 1 second. Here we go. Thank you, Jared. Inside of the chat, you'll find a list of emergency equipment that you can read over. Stuff that you can take on your person. Just everything has a size. The most you can carry is determined by your carrying capacity. So you can't. So if the total of your items is more than your carrying capacity, you can't actually carry them. You're kind of bound by what you have. To complicate matters a little bit further, as you're reading through this, you only have 15 minutes, starting now. So.
Oh God.
You have 15 minutes to choose what you want. If at the end of that 15 minutes it's not on your character sheet, it is considered left behind.
Oh shit.
Okay. So everybody, I've got a multi-tool repair kit. I'm gonna go and try to get. Oh God, I don't even have much room. A carrying bag.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, carrying pack. That'll increase your total carrying capacity,
Yeah.
and does not take up space.
Okay.
On the map, does it look like we're gonna have to climb?
There is a route that does go through the mountains. Yes.
Avery kind of steps forward, flexes her muscles, says, "Listen, put my my skills to use. I can carry a lot for you guys. I really just want to get this adrenaline shot, but whatever you want me to carry, I got some space." So, and she grabs the adrenaline shot.
Okay.
I think I'm just
I
gonna
just don't
add
have
the
room.
notebook and pen to my character sheet.
I have a radio. I've got a blaster, one medicine, ammunition, water bottle, and rations.
Okay. A note as for weapons: as long as you are carrying them in your hands, they do not count towards your carrying capacity.
Sweet.
So you can easily take like a weapon and then not have it affect your carrying capacity.
Awesome sauce.
The what's the word I'm looking for here? The exception to that being like the Edge acoustic cannon, which has like a backpack piece that comes with it.
Yes. Yes. All right.
Does somebody have rope?
No.
I can throw rope in my pack since I'm handling my weapon.
If you do that, I will take a grappling hook, and then together we'll have a tool that could be useful for climbing.
Sweet.
And then I'm full up with carrying capacity.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Avery has offered to be a pack mule. Is there anything that you can't fit that you might want Avery to carry for you?
An acoustic cannon?
Right. Right. Hopefully we don't have to use all the camping gear. We can make it.
Yeah, I mean it's a 9-hour trek, but it is sounds like it's gonna be pretty perilous.
Right.
One thing I'm interested in is a drone, if she could carry that.
There is a legit climbing kit. There is a compass. Those would be helpful.
I have a compass on me already.
Sweet.
But yeah, I can carry the drone.
Awesome. Hey, I'm noticing a spare tire. Does that mean we have a vehicle we can start out in?
Unfortunately, no. It's just a spare tire. Captain Grandin has taken the vehicle with him in order to move supplies.
Bless his heart.
How much weapons do we have among us? I have a blaster pistol.
I've got a battle rifle.
I just have my pretty nails.
I'm cool with that.
Maybe take a gun just in case. You never know. They're good up close, but if we can get them before you ever have to use your pretty nails, that might be better.
Yeah, let's see. I'm gonna drop. I have Does anyone have room for medicine? I have some medicine I'm carrying, but if I want to bring a gun.
I can carry
have
one
medicine.
more medicine, and that's,
All right.
that's it.
All right. It's a medicine 1,
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
and I'll pick up this blaster pistol.
Awesome. Are we ready to move out? Is everyone good?
I'm just gonna take my gun out of my pack, and I'm gonna grab a repair kit and a couple packs of ammunition.
I have a repair kit, just in case you want something else.
Sorry. In that case, I'll get a ration and a little less ammunition.
Oh, Reed, if I didn't tell you, with the carrying pack, your carrying capacity increases by 6.
Oh, that's huge.
Yes, so you can carry a lot more since you grabbed that.
Okay.
Oh, can I have one of those too?
Yes, you can. I believe there are 2 of them, so the 2 of you can carry more stuff.
Excellent. Unfortunately, I did have to ask a question at the beginning, so I missed some of the stuff everybody else is carrying.
Do we want to just go through it real quick?
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Yeah. I've got a compass, blaster pistol, water bottle, adrenaline shot, and drone.
Faust or Max?
I got medicine 1, edge knife, and notebook/pen.
Am I the only one who can't hear Faust?
I think so, because I can hear him just fine.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Do you need me to repeat it again?
I heard you. I'm not sure if they need you to.
Okay.
And then Roberta, what do you have again? Roberta is missing. MIA.
Oh, I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
What? Yeah.
What do you have?
I have the blaster pistol, 2-way radio. I now have 3 medicine, 2 ammunition, and rope, water bottle, and a drawstring bag.
That increases your carrying capacity by 2.
Awesome.
And then, Reed, did you already say what you're carrying?
Multi-tool, repair kit, blaster, grappling hook, and I am going to add an edge knife.
Okay.
And some ammunition.
Everybody carries so much. I thought I was the strong one.
Right?
I grabbed a bag.
Oh,
I
so are
can't
both the
carry
bags
much.
taken?
I think only 1 is taken. You might be able to grab that other one still.
Yeah, one, let's see, Roberta grabbed a drawstring bag, which is like a small backpack. The other carrying bag that has a capacity of 6 is still open for you to grab and scan.
Okay. I will grab that carrying bag.
How are we doing on time, facilitator?
You
Yeah.
have 5 minutes and 45 seconds.
I'm gonna grab a ration, a 2-way radio, and some ammunition.
Oh, okay.
Ration's good.
Hey, Snails, can I ask what the powered exoskeleton is? I'm just curious here.
Yes, the powered exoskeleton is cutting-edge technology from Saline World's commercially available industrial exoskeletal system. It has heavily armored plates and is calibrated hydraulic systems. Those who wear it become living tanks. It's basically it's power armor essentially, but it only has a battery life of 6 hours.
Ah, gotcha. And that's not something that we can wear, and it won't increase our carrying capacity at all, or decrease it, right?
You could wear it. Your armor that you're wearing, as far as I understand, does not count towards your total carrying capacity, but it is big enough. You would need to sure you had enough batteries to last this 9-hour trek.
Gotcha.
We'll be ready to ditch it halfway through.
Yeah, it's kind of what I mean, it looks like there's a couple things of armor in here. If we want to just try and wear those, I don't know if it'll make the trek a little bit lower, but there's a lot of shit out there, and I don't know what we're gonna face, so it might be a good idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else is wearing armor already, but it looks like there's full body tactical armor as well, and a ballistic vest.
Would that be on our character sheet if we are?
Yeah. I'll grab the ballistic vest. Maybe.
Yeah, you can easily grab a ballistic vest with steel plate.
Okay.
I'm
just make a note that has an armor value of 2.
Okay.
I'm grabbing a ferro rod and steel to complete my carrying capacity.
Yeah, I'm maxed.
Okay. Did you have a question, Scan?
No, but if we could put it on and not count it towards our carrying capacity, I will also grab a tactical armor.
Okay. The full body tactical armor has an armor value of 3.
Ooh.
Yeah, also get the ballistic vest with steel plate for my character.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wear that powered exoskeleton suit, and I'm not gonna bring any extra batteries. Hopefully, if we run into any shit, it's gonna be in the first 2/3 of this trip.
Oh god.
And maybe we should take some batteries for that girl.
Can we just call her Ripley at this point?
Yes.
Stay away from her, you beach.
I mean, hey, listen, Riley, if you got room to carry a battery for this thing, I'm not gonna say no, but I'm here for a short time, not a long time,
Actually, I'm
Good
looking
time,
at
not a long time.
the equipment list, and I'm not seeing a battery for the exoskeleton listed, so it looks like you just got the 6 hours.
Alrighty.
Not the battery under tools?
Tools, battery. Oh, there is a battery under tools. You know what? That's probably what it's
One
for.
size fits all battery.
Yeah.
Gosh, Salient Wealth and the technology, just absolutely mind-blowing how they do this.
Amazing.
All right, so we have a minute 30 seconds left. Is everybody feeling confident with what they have on their character sheets?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab one more battle rifle, which I will keep in my hand.
Okay.
This presumes that we're able to pack rations and everything that we brought from the greenhouse
Yes.
along. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think I'm ready.
Let's go.
I feel like a motherfucking superhero right now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Scientists piling behind Avery.
Right?
Okay. Let me stop sharing my screen so we don't need the timer anymore. With that, we'll skip ahead just ever so slightly for the sake of time. You have been walking for about 2.5 hours. A trek that is easier for some of you than others, as some of you are a little bit more weighed down than others, and some are in highly powered exoskeletons that are designed to make treks like this a breeze. However, you will need to make a decision soon, as there's Dr. Andovich has stopped the group and is insisting that you all eat. Because, as in his words, I'm hungry, and dinner was interrupted. I will have. Besides, we should eat and discuss next course of action. There are 2 paths before us lay.
What are those paths, Dr. Andovich?
There is a path over Shipcatcher Mountains. We can, actually, Yes. There's path over Shipcatcher Mountains. Is cold, snowy. For me, it's like winter's back home. But for you, going will be hard. Slippery, slow. Patel kind of cuts in here and says, slow but safe. There's a number of Oriad bases throughout Section C-33. She glares at Andovich for using the colloquial name. That means that the area is scouted, safer, and ultimately the smart choice. Rightfield is lacing and unlacing his fingers, a nervous stim you've seen him do frequently to calm himself. He's been awfully quiet, but he speaks up here. I'll go wherever you all decide, but going through the Valley of Ruins is faster, although considerably more dangerous. He looks to Patel, expecting her to protest, but she can't. So, Andovich says, turning to your team, we are clearly divided. You are leaders, guides, friends. Which way do we go? Safe and slow, or fast and dangerous?
Well, team, we've trained for this. I think we ought to get out of here. This is, I think we should probably do it as quick as we can. I mean, we all kind of know what this is without really knowing, right? So speed is probably of the essence.
Speed's not a problem so long as everyone can keep up. And she kind of eyes Dr. Andovich.
What dude looking at me? I can. Yeah, I may not be athletes.
Doctor, I respect you, but you're feeling a need to stop for snacks.
Sustenance is important. We have rations for a reason. And besides, everyone is eating, not just me.
Avery, Riley, you guys have any thoughts?
I mean, listen, even if it is the safer path, nothing on this island is actually safe. I think we know that by now. So I'm willing to take the risk. And Avery looks to Rightfield and she says, I know it's dangerous, but are you going to be okay?
Yes, I mean, as okay as anyone can be. There are things that live down in the valley, breathing trees and whatnot. All manner of dangerous flora. Nothing like that has been reported up in the Shipcatcher Mountains, so, but I'll be fine, as long as we keep our wits about us, I suppose.
Listen, Doc, this is your specialty, so, I mean, if you can give us any heads up for what we're about to walk into, that might be the best thing to do.
Well, most notably in the Valley of Ruins would be the breathing trees. They're trees, but they're more alive than regular trees. They hunt via carbon dioxide emissions from their prey, as it were. They take a great... I hesitate to say pleasure in tormenting their prey, but they don't kill you right away. They wrap you up in their trunks and kind of torture you a bit first, slamming you into the ground repeatedly until you eventually die.
This was sounding all right up to that part.
Right?
I'd say that's probably the most dangerous thing you'd have to worry about. But if we're quick and quiet, it shouldn't be an issue.
Well, speed is the name of the game here, so... I know it sounds dangerous, but I'm here for it. We gotta get going.
I just want to take a second and try to reassure the good doctors that we've got them. We've trained for this.
Yep.
Yes. Just be careful. You wouldn't be the first squad of edge troopers that we've lost to the trees.
Wait, did you guys hear about this?
New to me.
Need to know in basis information you didn't need to know, but now I feel as though perhaps you should really know.
Do we go on?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what else you want me to tell you. We've lost several squads of edge troopers to the trees in the past, but like I said, we know how they hunt now. We know that they like to torment their prey. We know a great deal more about them than previous squads did. Just don't breathe, and they won't be able to see you.
Don't
Well,
breathe.
listen, I ain't no tree hugger, so
But I do like to breathe. That's the thing.
I mean, if you don't want to risk it, we could always go over the mountains. There's nothing lives up there as far as we know.
well, and probably for good reason. Sounds like it's maybe a little difficult to live up there.
It is cold, very cold. Most things. It's like Siberian tundra. Not many things live there. What does live there is big and scary, but previous scouting parties have found nothing, so there's probably nothing there.
Did we bring the map with us?
I would say that Patel has brought the map. Yeah.
Because I'm curious what's the distance of this forest that we're going to be going through?
It's several hours of walking.
It's hard to hold your breath for several hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the trees do undulate. They tend to move, so that tends to be a bit of a dead giveaway. Not every tree in the Valley of Ruins is a breathing tree. Just, a few that we found.
Guys, you know what my least favorite part of The Lord of the Rings was? The fucking ants. Let's just go.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so which route are you guys taking?
Through the trees.
We're off
Is everybody
to
cool with that?
Third, yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Are we done with your snack here?
Meal is meal. Everyone should be eating. Everyone is time for meal. We eat. If you don't eat, bad things happen to you. We take even Patel. Patel, tell them yes. We should take 1 hour to eat. Otherwise,
Yeah, I guess we have to keep our strength up.
Yes.
That's an hour of your battery, though, for your suit.
Ooh.
I would say
we bought the spare.
if you're
down.
not actively using it, it wouldn't count. But you did.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So.
All right. Well, we'll take an hour to not have to fight with Dr. Andovich.
All right.
After your meal, you travel for about another hour, and then you finally reach the Valley of Ruins. You can tell that this valley was once home to an ancient, enormous, non-Euclidean city. However, the strange and colorful flora of this island have now claimed the fallen pillars and pyramidal stone walls as its own. Dr. Rightfield shakes in his boots as he looks out over the valley. He holds his notebook and pen at the ready, but you can tell from the sweat on his brow and how he stays in the middle of the pack that he isn't just scared, he's terrified.
That's
Hey,
a
Doc.
comfort.
Yeah, Avery walks up to Dr. Rightfield. She says, "Stick with me. You'll be okay, kid."
You see, you see that root over there, the one that's moving. It's wrapped around a pillar.
Yeah.
That's the breathing trees.
Okay.
How do you want to try and move through this part of the valley where where Rightfield has now kind of pointed out several breathing trees to you? You can move quickly. You can move slowly and carefully. Do you want to just try and get through it as quickly as you can?
I mean, if we're gonna be holding our breath a lot, probably speed is of the essence, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I can hold my breath, about as long as normal people can. I mean, Roberta, I know you're a former Olympian, so I gotta imagine you got some pretty good lung capacity, but...
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Former. Future.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So if you're going to try and move through as quickly as you can, I'm going to need everyone to make a roll with a target number of 9.
Snails, while we're doing this, can you tell me what an edge naif is?
Yes, I can absolutely tell you what an edge knife is. One moment, please. The kinetic neurointerfacing artificially intelligent flat edge is a bio-restricted knife handle that unsheathes its blade when being gripped by the authorized user. A built-in machine learning system guides the user's hand to optimal, ergonomic, and deadliest angles.
Okay.
It's a really fancy computer knife.
Just how I like my knives.
Are you an authorized user?
You would be an authorized user.
Is it like a mini lightsaber?
Just didn't want him to whip it out and it do nothing. Yeah.
Unauthorized user. Uh-oh. Alright, let's start with Faust. What did you roll for your TN9?
I got a 7.
Alright, would you like to spend any of your points to try and increase that to a 9, or would you like to keep the 7?
I'll keep the 7.
Okay. Moving on to Reed.
I rolled a 7, but I would like to use a couple agile points to get that to 9.
Okay. Kimber?
I rolled a 10, baby.
Alright,
Ooh.
so you completely succeed. Shine, what did you roll?
I rolled a 5, and I am gonna use some of my ability points on this.
Okay.
I will take the wound, or the stress. Let's see, because I would need 4. Snails, so what exactly am I rolling for, just so I know how to...
You are rolling to move as quickly and as you can.
Alright. Yeah, then I'm gonna use... God, okay. My 2 agile points, and 2 tenacious. And I'm just gonna basically go beast mode on this.
Yes.
I've got a goal in mind, and I'm gonna get to it, and I'm gonna make sure nothing happens to right field on the way.
Alright, and that brings us to Scan. What did you roll?
11.
You rolled an 11. Nice. Alright, that means the majority of the team succeeded, so that means you all succeed. I'm gonna need one quick moment as I share my screen again.
Ooh.
Ooh, pretty.
So
Oh,
you
nice.
all have managed to make it to what I believe is this X over here. Past the first of the breathing trees. Your goal is to make it to one of these 2 exits at the top of the map. Now, we are in combat, which means that we are in initiative. Everyone will go, and then the trees will go. If you're within their range, they will attack you. You can move. Your regular movement will move you 3 hexes, and I'll go ahead and just move your little tokens for you since not everyone is in the thing. If you decide to use your major action to run, then you can move a total of 6 more hexes for a total of 9 hexes altogether. If you want, you can use your major action to do things like attack the trees or help somebody else who might be in danger. You each have 1 minor action and 1 major action per round in this combat.
We're in combat.
Mm-hmm.
Did Andovich have any more information in regards to, like, is there anything that could incapacitate the trees even, like, momentarily? How far can they reach? Like,
Rightfield is the one that knows
Yeah.
more about the trees. But he doesn't have specifics for you. He just says,
Okay.
They don't like fire.
Fire. Ooh.
Does anybody have fire-making goodness?
I have ferro rod and steel. Do we have some combustible material?
I mean,
Trees are pretty combustible.
Is there some?
I mean, that's what I was thinking.
Well, we need to get it on the tree without the tree going onto us, right?
Right?
Since
Is there
the
any
edge knife,
deadwood stuff laying around?
Okay. So I'll say that you can make a quick like observation roll to like find see if you can find some combustible materials. The target number for you will be 7 to try and find some easily combustible materials. Faust, what were you asking?
yeah, since the edge knife is technically cybernetic kind of thing, is it able to like kind of start a fire kind of thing, or is it just like strictly kind of?
I don't think so. I don't think it's like a lightsaber. It's more of like a motorized knife with a computer built into it.
Okay.
It's like a chainsaw.
Right?
Very small chainsaw.
All I need is a boomstick now. Roberta, did you find any?
No, it's moist where I am. Apparently, I rolled a 3.
Oh, I'd like to do a quick ob for some combustibles. I got an 8.
Okay. Yeah, you find a small bundle of combustible materials, dried leaves, twigs. It is enough to start a fire, but it is not like a raging bonfire or anything.
Any like torch-like pieces in there?
Yeah, there
That's
are
my
some
torch.
Right?
I'll say that you find like a couple of bigger sticks that you could probably get a torch going this turn if you really wanted to.
Yep, I will try.
Okay, so you use this turn to like get a torch up and lit with the materials that you have on hand. Moving on to the next person, Faust. Do you know what you would like to do this turn?
Can I hold my turn for right now?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
Shine. What would you like to do?
As much as beating up a fucking tree is appealing, I'm really worried about Dr. Rightfield. If he's freaked out by this place, it's for good reason, and I want to make sure he gets out of here. So I don't know if that would inhibit, like, my movement at all, but I want to basically escort him through the area and maybe kind of lead the team and hopefully take the brunt of these trees if I happen to breathe.
Okay, so you want to go first, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes.
All right. So do you just want to use your action to run, then so that way you can move the most that you're capable of moving?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'll just I'll run. But I would like if I can use my minor action to keep my eyes out or something.
I'll say that you can keep your eyes out without needing to use an action.
Okay, then then that's what I'll do.
Okay, so we'll move you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. Up ahead of the rest of the group. Scandy, what would you like to do?
I will also just place myself in front of the scientists with my gun at the ready, but is this like the trees are attacking us actively, or are we just getting by them?
They have just woken up. You can see that they were up above from the valley, you're looking down. They were very dormant, but once you entered into the valley, they became very active. So they're undulating, their branches and roots are like whipping around, like they're searching for something. So they have not attacked you yet, but it does look like they are actively looking for you.
Okay, well, I'm not going to engage with the trees, but I am prepared to do so, and getting in front of the scientists to try and protect them.
Right.
Okay, so I will move. So should I move you next to Shy?
That seems a bit far. I'd like to stay next to the scientists and protect them.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna say that the scientists are gonna move as far. How about we have the scientists move, and then you can decide where you want to go.
Sure.
Okay. Scientists are gonna move their full amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Getting close.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Yeah.
7, 8. And we'll just say that right field stopped short. So do you know where you want to move now, Skinny?
Yeah, I will also take my maximum movement to get up with the pack.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, did you want to be in front or like just in the pack?
Just in the pack, that's good.
Okay, cool. Alright. And Fast, we're back to you.
Yeah, I'm just gonna do my max movement and be with the rest of the pack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you can easily see that this, just to be clear, this right here is a breathing tree, and we have a breathing tree right over here as well, in case it wasn't clear from the map. The trees are going, and they are unhappy. Let's see. Reed, I'm going to need you to make a target number 9 roll. Or sorry, 11. Target number 11 roll as one of the trees tries to grab you with its roots.
I rolled a 12, baby.
Alright, you watch as one of the roots rips up from the ground and it comes slamming down towards you to wrap around, and with it you're able to quickly step away. It seems it's not quite sure exactly where you are, since you have the torch in your hand, and you know that they have via carbon dioxide, the torch is giving off a lot of smoke, and it's burning up the air for fuel, so it's probably throwing this tree off somewhat as to prey that is around it. Let's see, the other tree is going to attack Cheyenne, because you were the first person up there. Cheyenne, I'll need a target number 11 roll for you to avoid one of the roots as it is.
Okay, I got a 5. Sorry, Snails, not to bring it back to this, but last time I did 4 ability points, so did I take a point of stress?
Yes, you would have taken a point of physical stress.
Okay, I didn't mark that. And it's a target of 11?
Yes.
4. Man, I don't know if I want to use... if I increased... If I used some of my ability points, but it was still less than 11, I'm still going to get my ass beat, right?
Well, no, you needed 11 to avoid it.
Okay, gosh.
But it's okay to fail. It won't be the end of the world.
I will take the hit. I got this beefy armor. Let's put it to good use.
So
I actually don't know what the armor does. I don't think I wrote that down.
Your armor gives you will reduce the amount of physical stress that you take from an attack.
Oh, okay, great.
So you are uprooted from the ground, and you're wrapped up in this tree's roots, and you can see as it just kind of lifts Shy's character into the air, kind of waving around. Shy, you take 2 mental stress, and you are restrained. On your turn, however, you can use a major action to escape if you want.
Okay.
And that brings us back to the... Yeah, that brings us back to you guys, as there's nothing else that the third breathing tree can do. Who would like to go first?
Let's grab Quinn and get a little further from that tree, a little closer to our group. Let's do that.
Okay. Would you like to use all of your movement to catch up with the group?
Well,
Or just use...
I don't want to box us in with one of these, like, between whatever those 2 bits of things are. So maybe halfway to the group.
Okay, so
know.
I can move your minor action, which should put you right here.
Okay, let's do that. I want to make sure that both Quinn and the group are kind of good.
What would you like to do with your major action? Did you want to attack the tree? Did you want to just kind of hang out and see what happens?
What does happen if I shoot a tree? Let's find out. What do I have to roll to hit these?
That'll be a target number of 11 to hit the tree.
Oof.
And the edge weapon proficiency, does that give me...
Yes, that I believe would increase your what you roll by 1.
Oh. Oh no. No. Oh no.
No?
No.
Okay.
Oh no.
You take a shot with your... Did you say you took the blaster pistol?
Yeah.
You take a shot with your blaster pistol, and it's a little hard to get a perfect bead on like a sensitive spot, especially with Avery being held in one of the trunks flailing around. Your shot just kind of trims off some bark from one of the less vital areas of the tree itself.
Okay.
Reed, you're also kind of back here in the back of the group. What would you like to do?
I would like to try to set that pile of leaves and just the brambles kind of ablaze before I run to, get back with Roberta and the pack.
Okay, so you're starting a fire in the forest.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Start a forest fire.
This
There's
is a
good
bear.
plan.
There's a bear who would like to have a conversation with you. But, we'll say that is your major action to start the fire.
Okay.
Get it going.
Okay.
And then want me to use your minor action to move you up next to Quinn?
That'd be great.
Roberta, rather?
Yes.
Okay, so we can move you right here. Faust, do you know what you would like to do, or do you want to...
Is the tree stuff? What's the tree kind of doing right now? Like, is it looking at us? Is it?
Well, it doesn't have any eyes, so you can't tell it is looking at anything. But right now, its roots are searching and slithering through the dirt, kind of like almost like massive wooden snakes, and it's flailing Avery in the air around you.
I'll try to save Avery with my edge knife.
Okay. Go ahead and make a roll. Your target number is 11.
I got a 5.
Okay. Would you like to spend points to try and get that to an 11, or do you want to just take the failure?
I'll take the failure.
All right. And did you want to move your character at all, or do you want to stay where you are?
I'll stay just because we're trying to see what we can do for...
Okay. Okay, moving on. Avery, you're currently being held in the air by a tree.
Well, that's not good. I want to not be doing that. Yeah, I'm gonna spend my action to try and get out of the tree's grasp.
Okay. According to the rules here, it just says that you can use your major action to escape. So you've used your major action. Do you want to try and move away, or do you want to try and do something else with your minor action?
Let's see. I think that's all I'm gonna do for now.
Oh, okay. And then Scan, was there anything that you wanted to do, or do you want to wait for the scientists to go? I'm sorry, say it again.
I can let them go.
Okay, the scientists are going to continue moving to try and escape this terrible, terrible place. Still moving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then Andovich doing the same. 2, 3, and then right field would move 1, 2. That's their major action. So they can also move another 3 squares. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Or hexes, I should say. 1, 2, 3. Alright, what would you like to do, Scandy?
I would like to catch up with them.
Okay. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, and we'll have you end up right here next to Dr. Andovich. Or not Dr. Andovich, Dr. Rightfield.
Alright.
Which brings us back to the trees. Let's see. Reed and Kimber, your characters do not need to make a check this turn, as the fire that Quinn started is successfully distracting the tree, and it is trying to smash it out. The tree is literally grasping at the fire and trying to curl around it as if to grab it, but it can't really. It's not a physical thing that it can properly hold on to, so it's just kind of spreading it around. So for the time being, this tree back here is incapacitated.
Is the tree getting burned? Is it making any sounds?
You do hear sounds similar, I would imagine, to steamed lobster, where there's a high-pitched, kind of whistling noise as the moisture inside the tree. These are very wet trees, so it's not getting burned so much as it is getting steamed.
No, arson would pay off someday.
That brings us back to Avery. You're being attacked by the tree again.
God damn. Okay. What's the TN to avoid it again? 11?
11.
All right. Let's see what we get. Better than a 5. Better than a. Oh! 4.
Okay. So you take, unless you have the points and you want to spend them, you'll take 2 mental stress and you'll be kind of bound up by the tree again.
All right. And just to make sure I understand stress to wounds, if my limit is 4 and this brings me to 4, that gives me a mild mental stress wound.
If it brings you to 4, you're fine. It's once you go over 4 that you'll.
Okay, gotcha. Alrighty. Well, yep. I'm just gonna take that, I guess. These trees they're hitting me where it hurts.
Okay, and that I just need to check one more thing. Okay. I need to make a roll for the scientists because they have gotten close enough to one of the other trees up top that they are being attacked. So, 1 second, I was not planning for this. Oh, hey, okay, so you see one of the trees kind of strikes out at Dr. Patel, who manages to avoid its tendrils barely, just barely, as it kind of grasps the ground around it. That brings us back to the player's turn. Who would like to go first?
I'll do.
We better go save them.
Yeah.
Let's go,
Can
Quinn.
I do? Would it be just kind of
So off we go.
go towards the doctors, or would it be?
Quickly as possible.
That's my major action, right?
It's a minor action to move 3 hexes and a major action to move 6. So you could use your minor action to move closer to them, or use your major action to something else. Or you could just go buck out.
I'm going to buck out and run towards them. I don't like how far away the scientists have gotten. Or Avery being constantly entangled in a tree.
We'll go here for 9. Did you want to go full out as well, Faust?
Yes, I do.
4, 5, 6, 7, 9. What about you, Reed? What would you like to do?
Yeah, catch up with the scientists.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe a little bit further away from the tree for 9.
Okay.
Bring us to Cheyenne. You are currently being held by a big ass tree.
Oh shit! I didn't know that. I would have helped.
Something
It's
I was
okay.
going to ask.
Save yourself. You
We've
know.
been talking about this the whole time.
Yeah, I'm gonna use my major action to escape the grasp of this tree again.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
You still have your minor action to move if you'd like.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Get as far away from this tree as possible.
Okay, as far away as possible, there's access of movement. Right over here, somewhat behind Murderer is. And let's see. Scandy, did you want to wait for the scientists, or did you have a thing you wanted to do?
I was hoping to distract that tree a little, but watching the pace these scientists are going, they're gonna get way the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
Okay, so would you like to wait for them to move?
No, I'm gonna ask them to slow down a little.
Okay, you ask them to slow. In response, they kind of collectively stop and they look and they kind of confer with each other. And right field kind of points out at the trees. Specifically this tree up here. Though I suppose it would probably apply to anything. He says, if you hold your breath, it won't be able to see you. And what he has done is he's used his. They've used their expertise ability this turn. Rather than moving, they've lowered the TN for any obstacles, like dealing with guarding the trees by 1. So now you need to get a 10 instead of 1.
Oh.
Nice.
So if
Nice.
they're all holding their breath. Well, okay, so I'm gonna shoot at the tree a bit, and I'm gonna use my movement to go as far as I can.
Okay, so we'll move you up towards the tree 3 hexes, and then go ahead and roll, and it'll be a 10 to hit the tree.
Working on it.
Not a problem.
I got a 7. Well, I've missed. And I'm just gonna let that be a miss because I'm just trying to distract it a little.
Yeah, not a problem. It's not, again, it's not so much that you miss. You just it's more that like you're trying to find a vital point on a tree, and it's like where is the tree's weak point? It's hard to tell. So you get a solid hit on it, but it just seems more scorched the bark, meaningful damage to it. Which brings us to the trees.
And if possible, I would like to have shot at that.
Shot.
Try not to get
Brings us to the trees. Once again, let's see. This tree over here is going to attack. Just a quick die. Reed, to roll a 10 or better to avoid getting grappled by this tree.
Okay. I got an 8, but I am going to use maybe some more agile points. Yeah,
Okay, so-
to get to a 10.
Awesome. You spend 2 agile points. The tree begins to wrap around your legs, but you can easily do a quick hop skip and out of its grasp before it manages to completely snake around.
Alright.
The tree up here is going to go for closest target to it, which is you standing, unfortunately. So I'll need 10 or better to avoid getting grappled.
I have rolled a critical failure.
Okay. Luckily, nothing extra bad happens to you, but you are restrained. It's able to mental stress.
Cool.
As you're kind of grappling. You can, on your turn, use your major action to escape from its grasp.
Okay.
Alright, and that brings us back to the players. Let's start with you, Roberta. What would you like to do?
I would like to catch up with scientists and get ahead of them if I can. Get between them and the tree.
Okay. So with your minor action, 1, 2, 3. Would you like to use your major action to the additional 6 and get between them?
Yeah. I don't like them being that close to that tree.
1, 2, 4, 6.
How long can I hold my breath? Let's find out.
So, let's see. 3. Would you like to do?
I would also. Who's behind me on the map? It's hard to see.
Avery is like one square.
Okay, she's out of the tree's grasp now?
Yes, she's out of the tree's grasp.
Okay, then I will, since Roberta took point, I'm going to stay on the 6 just behind the scientists.
Okay. It only takes you 3 hexes to get behind them. Would you like to do anything with your major action?
Take a quick bite of a ration. No, I don't know. No.
Dr.
Okay.
Andovich style.
Nope.
Alright, Faust, do you know what you'd like to do?
So I'm with the doctors, right?
Yes, you're right
Okay.
here, right up next to the doctors.
And is anyone currently in danger or anything like that?
Scandy, Riley, is currently grappled by a tree.
Let's see. I want to see if I could release the grapple with my edge knife again.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll move you up with your minor action.
Yeah.
Let's see, 1, 2, 3. And you can definitely use your major action, 10 or better.
I got an 8. I'm sure the I'll just use tenacious.
Alright, you use 2 tenacious. You're really hacking away at this tree, and it takes more than 1 cut. What's really distressing, however, is that the tree bleeds.
No.
When you cut into it, like high pressure fluid shoots out, almost looks like bursting combustion. It's really unpleasant and foul smell. But in doing so, the tree instantly drops Riley.
Thanks.
Do we notice any ill effects from like the smell or the liquid itself coming from the tree?
Not on yourself, but you do know that the tree. Actually, I should have you go ahead and roll damage. The knaves is 2d4.
2D.
See how much physical stress you
Going through all my dice, trying to find a D4. I got a 3 total.
3 stress total. You do see that as you deal damage to the tree, the root that was attacked is now limping, plus kind of popping. It seems that the roots are perhaps the most vulnerable part of this tree. Scandy, did you want to wait for the scientists, or did you want to go?
I'll wait for the scientist.
Alright, that brings us to Cheyenne. What would you like to do? Did you want to wait for the scientist, or did you want to go first?
Well, I have a feeling that I just need to catch up with them because I'm kind of behind the pack. So I will just move as far as I can, and I'm gonna go ahead and just, if I can, I don't know how many hexes I am, but I will put myself as close to the tree as I can get.
Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we'll go diagonal here for 9.
You're really trying to get grabbed again, huh?
Listen, I'm a ballsy risk taker. Eventually, I'm gonna roll well.
Scientists will use their turn this round. Running. 2.
Not too far. Stay with the group.
5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Dr. Anovich is out of danger, but he's in the path. So he gets past the final beach. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. She's not quite off the map, but she is very close. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 for Dr. Rayfield. Alright, Scandy, what would you like to do?
I'm going to catch up with those scientists again.
Okay.
Well, this is the last tree, right?
This is the last tree, yes.
Okay, so I will stay kind of next to the scientist that's lagging behind the most.
Okay, so you use your major action to catch up, and you interpose yourself between the tree and Dr. Rayfield.
Yeah.
Okay. That brings us to the trees again. Reed, you are too far away from the tree, this tree down here, for it to actually effectively grab at you. So you're kind of in the clear this round. Avery, you are the closest thing. Actually, it's between you and Scandy as to who's actually closer. You're a hex away. So we have it randomly. Avery, you are grabbed. Grabbed at. You need to make a
And it's a TN11 or TN10 now, right?
yes.
Okay. Hey, we got it. 10.
Woo! Nice. You
Yeah.
managed to avoid the tree as it grabs out for you. Which brings us back to the the initiative order for the players, I'm going to tell you right now, the scientists are just going to start, and they are off. So we'll just start in the same way we did last time. Roberta, what would you like to do?
I want the scientists to leave my site, so I'm following them.
Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you are off the map with the scientists as well. Reed, what would you like to do?
Run up to the tree and throw my torch on it.
Oh, okay. You move 1, 2, 3. We'll move you over here. And go ahead and to throw your torch on the tree. Go ahead and give me. It shouldn't be too hard. Give me a roll with target number of 5.
Okay. 7.
Yeah, easy. You managed to get the torch lodged into a notch in the tree where the 2 of them reaches me, so now it's flailing everywhere. The tree is not sure who to attack anymore or what to attack. It's now slapping at itself. I'll say, because of your clever use of the torch, you incapacitated this tree as well, which means that everybody's able to escape safely without fear of being grabbed. So you managed to conquer this particular obstacle.
Yay.
I just need to double check where I'm at. I think.
Cool map. I like that.
Yeah, yeah, it looks really good.
Alright. It's pushing into the small hours of the morning as you reach the beach of Ocean Abs Research Station. Before you can see hear it, the sound of klaxon evacuation alarms through ceiling wall pyramids. Through the moonlit, riven air from a hill overlooking the coast, you can see that there are dozens of people crowded onto a small boat at the end of the dock. Whose light is conspicuously on. Dr. Patel checks her watch just as dawn begins to break. 7:24 hours. A few minutes left. She hurries you all along down the grassy hill. As you get closer, you can see a throng of people desperate to get on the surface. Sally Wells' lighthouse. Where's Brandon? As he moves up to you upon your arrival at the dock. The insignia on his armor shows that the trooper is the captain of Landon Squad, stationed at one of the Hesperid stations on the westernmost edges of the island. His badge states his last name as Domain. You notice that his leg is bandaged and somewhat mangled. You don't have much time to think about it, with him glaring right at you.
Didn't make it.
Shit.
Yep. Let's get these people to the boats.
Okay. Moving on. You move into to get your scientists towards the boats, and you can see that it is chaos here. Like there are troopers doing their best to kind of keep everyone calm and moving in an orderly manner, but it is a chaotic evacuation nonetheless. Domain kind of pulls you aside before you can get too much closer to the dock, and he says, "Listen." Domain begins, searching for the words, but failing to find them. It's clear that whatever he has to say to you isn't easy for him. He stumbles through a couple of other false starts as a rock begins forming in the pit of your stomach at whatever he's about to say. There's no easy way to say this. He begins finally. There aren't enough spots left on this boat for all of you. The rest will have to wait here with me until another comes.
Get the scientists on a boat, so I'll stay.
How many spots are there?
There are 2 spots. Sorry, there's spots enough for everyone, but 2 of you have to stay behind.
I'll stay behind.
Can we guarantee that the scientists will be safe on the boat?
I mean, as safe as anyone. This their best shot at getting to safety.
The troopers on the boat are also equipped for combat, right?
Yeah, you can see of the few troopers who are getting on boats that everyone here is equipped and ready for combat.
Alright, I'm willing to stay behind as well.
Whatever you need, Domain.
He nods. He says, just get the scientists on the boats and whoever else is leaving on the boats, and I'll meet the rest of you shortly. You can list a sat phone to his ear as he turns to walk away. Sheena, I just talked to Dryad Delta. Grandin isn't with them. His voice trails off, and he's back to the docks when you can make anything else out. So you've already decided who's going to stay, and Scandy, Shy, and Roberta are all staying? Or,
I thought only 2 people needed to stay behind. Or did I?
Yeah,
Well, there's safety
that's what
in
I
numbers.
thought too.
Yeah, only 2
if
people
we
need
can
to stay.
if we can get more people on these boats, we're doing it. So I'm
Mhm.
staying here. One of you guys needs to
Mhm.
get on that boat. I mean, listen, Riley, you have a kid.
Yeah.
You got to think of her.
That's true. And
All right,
if you guys
Scandy,
don't
will
want the backup, I'll go.
Nah, there's nothing
No.
left for me. You go.
All right, let's do this.
All right. Sorry, I just need to read something real fast.
So Roberta and Avery, you guys are cool with this?
Yeah.
Yep. You guys got to get off this island.
When it comes down to it, she and I are just hired guns. You guys know stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the life rafts do depart, and they all manage to get to one central ship that is holding everyone. As the ship sets off from shore, the slightest wisps of sunlight have begun to crawl across the eastern side of the island. However, here at the westernmost port, the Shipcatcher Mountains cast an enormous shadow over the bay. A cloud of fog has settled on the ocean waves, and there's a certain finality, even solemnity, to the wall of gray before you. Then, the lighthouse cuts through the fog like a knife, revealing a swarm of insectoid creatures appearing in the sky as if from nowhere. Their bodies are chitinous and skeletal, hanging between a pair of great leathery wings, which end in sharp talon-like claws. In the slow-growing dawn light, they circle like vultures around the life rafts that are heading to around the ship, before one swoops down to grab a passenger and disappears immediately into the twilight. It suddenly becomes very clear to all of you remaining on the beach, including Domain, that unless you do something, all of the work and research Sailing North has done over the past few years, and all the people who have done it, could be lost. You need to fend off this attack long enough for the ship to escape, but to do so, you have to draw their attention to you instead of the evacuees. In this moment, you know that you will never see your loved ones, smell home, or hear the small, lovely things that mean so much to you, and that you know that you are alive. But the survivors still might have a chance. So, for the people on the beach, that would be Domain, Shy, and Kimber. You'll need to figure out some way to draw attention to yourself if you want to help the evacuees escape. There's several things nearby, several features of ocean eclipse that might be useful to you. The lighthouse, which is working sporadically but not giving off a solid beam of light, it turned on just long enough to kind of reveal the flying creatures to you, and then sputtered out. There's a built-in acoustic cannon that is very large. It's like a small building that takes a couple of people to operate. There's the built-in alarm system that you heard the alarms kind of going off earlier. How would you like to try and? You could also shoot at them.
Yeah.
So how would you like to try and distract these creatures?
Shooting at them, kind of on our way to the big acoustic cannon, seems like a good idea.
Yep. Roberta and I are on the same page here.
Okay, so you have 2 rounds of initiative to distract these creatures. If you want to shoot at them, and in the first round, that is going to be a target number of 5.
Alrighty.
7.
I also got a 7.
Awesome. You easily pick off a couple of these creatures, known to you as Byaki, and they fall from the sky. Reaching the acoustic cannon, however, this is a very advanced piece of coastal defense system. It's designed to take out aerial threats and detect submerged ones. It could easily be used to disrupt the flight patterns of the Byaki. It is more difficult than just shooting at them, but it would easily be more effective and make things safer for people trying to flee on the ship. It would be, however, to fire it would be a target number of 7.
Okay.
And you both get a shot at that.
Okay.
Okay. Do it.
No. I got a 2.
I got a 9. Geez, a 2. Would helping am I be able to help Roberta's roll at all? And would that guarantee more success?
I thought with just one person making it, we did it.
Yeah, with all you needed was one person to get the
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So you were both kind of working on it. Roberta runs into a snag, but you're able to kind of compensate for her lack of knowledge on this particular piece of machinery. You give it a good kick. You give it a good kick, and it fires off a blast into the swarm of Byaki, whose attention is now on you, the 2 of you, as well as Captain Domain, who is firing off into the swarm, kind of blindly. For those of you on the life raft, hang on, let me make sure I'm not missing anything. Okay, yes. The trooper steering the ship looks down the coast and sees something you can't. You begin to follow his gaze, glimpsing a massive wall of gray and green flesh wading out to sea with the rising sun behind it. It moves sluggishly, perhaps because it has such mass, perhaps because it spent the last 5 years asleep in its tomb. You are shocked out of your primordial paralyzation by the edge trooper grabbing his head and beginning to babble in a language you don't understand. Though you can feel every syllable and thump in and against your chest, black ichor begins to ooze out of the trooper's eyes and nose and beards as he crumbles to the ground, still, and probably forever, mumbling in that terrifying language. You are the only other edge troopers on this boat, left on the ship, and you are left with no choice. You must take control of the boat and get these people to safety. Who would like to be responsible for trying to pilot the ship?
I'll give it a chance.
All right, Faust.
Don't we have an engineer with us?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, that's what was on my application.
I appreciate your initiative, Max, but
We're trying to get out of this option.
So, is it Faust or Reed who's taking command of the ship?
I'll give it to Reed.
Oh, God.
He's more qualified for this.
In the end, this is all his fault.
Okay. For Scan and for Faust, how would you like to try and help Reed succeed in driving this boat?
I look wide-eyed at my compatriots and I say, "Guys, I fucking lied on my application. I'm not an engineer. I need help. Like, is this like driving a car? What is this?"
Well, it does have a steering wheel.
Oh, I've got this then, I guess.
I'm gonna look around the controls and see if there's any kind of manual or like obvious markings as to what does what.
Okay. Go ahead and make a roll with a target number of 8 to try and find any kind of autopiloting system to help.
I rolled an 8.
All right. You do find some switches and settings that will automate most of the boats, handling and such, to the point where Reed's character Quinn won't need to worry about some of the more minute details of piloting a boat. You basically managed to turn on quasi-autopilot.
Great.
Or cruise control, I guess, for a boat.
How different can it really be from a car? There's a steering wheel. You got this.
Faust, what would you like to do?
Just want to. Well, they already. Can I help look fine for like better ways to actually control the boat itself and not just autopilot kind of thing?
I would say that the controls have already been explored as an option.
Okay. So what else can I do at the moment?
Let's see. The people on the boat are acting restless, and they are causing it to kind of rock back and forth. You could try and calm them down. You could try and guide Reed, who is having to avert his gaze from the large thing in the distance, lest he goes mad, staring at it. You could attempt to look at that direction to kind of guide the boat a little bit better, as a possible option. Those are 2 possibilities for you.
Actually, I want to do that. I want to kind of Reed from like staring at that thing.
Navigation assistance.
You're going to attempt to look at the thing to guide the driver. So go ahead and make a roll with a TN of 10.
I got an 8.
Okay.
But I'll use 2 cunning points.
Awesome. So you immediately take 6 points of mental stress and look away. You caught the gaze of the great old one, but in that moment you were able to call out directions to the driver of the boat, reducing the TN of the drive of the boat roll by 2, which is the same amount that I'll say that Scandi managed to reduce the TN. So driving the boat is a TN 14 roll, but because of Scandi and Faust's efforts, it is now a TN of 10. So Reed, with no further ado,
Here we go. 9.
Okay. Do you have anything you can spend?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I guess I would do. This is more of a cunning, probably.
Yeah.
Ability.
Yeah, it's using your mental faculties to try and do something you've never done before.
Yeah. So 10 with cunning.
All right, you managed to successfully drive the boat. All right, the boat disappears over the horizon and off to freedom, with its remaining complement scared and desperate. The strange creatures that come from nowhere are gone. The thing that moved through the sea is out of sight, and as you take a deep breath, you feel the dawn light finally begin to warm your back. You think about those left on the island behind you. You think about the horrible way that they spent their last moments, and the loved ones that they left behind by sending you ahead. Lastly, you look forward into the dark blue future. Let's see here. What are your characters thinking and feeling as they see the island fade into the distance.
All I'm thinking is, fuck this. I'm just like in trauma, almost in a trauma state, kind of like, oh, kind of thing.
Riley is feeling pretty upset about leaving those guys behind, but also grateful that Avery sent her off. Otherwise, she would never see her kid again.
Yeah, Quinn is really like almost wondering if there's anything worth living for anymore. I mean, that was we barely made it out alive, and like watching that edge trooper, like their language change, and you know that black ichor come out, and yeah, that's what are we doing? What?
All right. For Roberta and Avery, I need both of you to roll for me. Just make a roll, and you can add. This is to see how long you survive on the beach. You can add any remaining AP that you want.
Right, because we're not getting out of this. Go ahead and add it.
Can't they make a swim for it? They're both athletic.
Right. Yeah, I rolled a 7, and I mean I would use my strength and my agility to fight as long as I could.
Okay.
So,
What would that bring your total to?
7, 11, 16.
Okay, 16.
Sorry.
Okay, and then Shy, what did you get?
I rolled a 7 also. Let's see, and I have 4 tenacious, 5 strong. I don't know where all that would put me at. Should I use everything up? I got cunning and vigilance, but I don't really know how I can use that.
Yeah, if you want to, you can spend them to try and get your roll up.
Yeah, I just want to get my roll up as high as I can. So, yeah, I'll use I have 5 strong, and I'll use my 4 tenacious. And that would bring me up to, math is hard, 16 also, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
The two of you, you run out of ammo at about almost the same time. With no other options, you choose to face fate head-on, knowing in your final fleeting moments, you see something strange, writhing mass rise out of the ocean. A large, many-mouthed tendril with eyes that appear all over, like blinking, rises up before you and then slams down, and then darkness and nothing.
At least the bugs didn't eat us.
There was no possibility of bringing the scientists to wherever and dropping them off and going back?
No, you're at the base is at Point Nemo, which is like the most remote area like in the world. So you're like it's known as like the point of inaccessibility.
Sure.
It's the farthest away from land you can possibly be.
But what about like the Salian Wealth flotilla of stations and stuff? Those just
they're a little preoccupied at the moment.
Okay, all right.
And probably being evacuated as well. Okay. Let me just. yeah, and that's what we're gonna call it for the game. Thank you all for playing.
Yeah.
Sorry that it ended with some of you a little less successfully than others.
I mean,
For me, listen,
we
Avery,
kind of knew.
this is an ideal scenario for Avery. She did what she wanted to do. I think.
Yeah.
So.
With that, why don't we? Every character had a secret. So why don't we go around and we share like everyone's kind of like secrets that they had for their characters. We'll start on the farthest left. Faust, what was Max's secret?
His secret was keep your love a secret and find a way to be with Dr. Patel.
Oh.
What?
I ship it.
So Max and Dr. Patel were breaking company regulations and have now managed to go on and both survive, meaning that hopefully there's a bright future ahead for the two of them.
I don't know. I'm pretty. Some people don't hear it now. So
Reed, what was? I think you mentioned it a little bit, but what was Quinn's secret?
Yeah, I essentially crapped my pants in the moment, but Quinn lied about everything, like their education. They forged their application to Salient Wealth. Like it was all just a big like ruse for them to get this dream gig, essentially, like huge bennies and big paychecks, and yeah, they knew nothing.
However, you know, as a surviving member of the evacuation crew, there's the potential for a promotion in your future, depending on how good your report is. So, you might become a captain of your own set of edge troopers one day, Quinn. Kimber, what was Roberta's secret?
She's Salient Wealth has actually agreed to sponsor her for the Olympics, for her return to the Olympics, and so she knows that they're shady. She doesn't care because they can get her to the Olympics and get her the gold she's always wanted.
Gold at no matter the cost, which dream
matter
that
the
will
cost.
unfortunately not see come to fruition.
Right?
Damn it.
Scandy, what was Riley's secret?
Riley's secret didn't really come into play because Riley was the mole who was being searched for by Justin. And 3 slots of my inventory were taken up by a device which nobody ever asked about. I successfully took it off the island because nobody cared. And that just kind of sent all of Salient Wealth secrets to a reporter waiting on the mainland as soon as we got far enough away.
Damn.
Oh shit.
Nice.
So gonna be some PR spins that are gonna need to happen in the future.
Yeah, unfortunately, one of my goals was to convince Avery to join my cause, but we never really got to talk, so I was trying to stay with you, but I guess I succeeded by leaving.
That's true. Damn, was the kid real though? Tell me the kid was real. You actually have a daughter.
The kid is real. That's why I
Okay.
was the mole, because I want to build a safer, better world where they don't expand their human experimentation policy.
Oh shit.
Wow. Well,
And then Avery, what was your? You can touch on it too. What was your secret?
well, as I told everyone at the beginning, I was given 2 choices. When I was 21, I made a dark mistake, and I could either go to jail for 34 years or spend 5 years in Salient Wealth's research program. And 34 years is the prison sentence for someone who has been found guilty of 2 counts of vehicular manslaughter and a DUI. So that is why I chose service with Salient Wealth. I've never really overcame that guilt of being the cause of 2 innocent people's deaths and the mistakes I made when I was a child. So for Avery, getting to save the scientist and sacrificing herself at the end of the day, that's kind of what she wanted. Because also for Avery, she didn't read the contract she signed. that said that 5 years of service in the research program. But then I am forced to live in a retired Salian Wealth commune. So I don't really get freedom. I have to go be under Salian Wealth's lock and key for the rest of my life. So my other goal is to try and break the shackles that Salian Wealth put on me. I didn't know how I was going to do that. I had a camera on me. I was thinking maybe I could get some evidence and blackmail people, but, the sweet release of death also freed me from Salian Wealth in a way. So.
Oh God! What a way to phrase that.
Nothing.
Release of death.
Yep. Brad, was there anything else that we needed to do?
Yeah. There's just one more thing. Well, I guess two more things. Can I get a bunch of clappy emojis in the chat for our wonderful team here? You all were absolutely fucking phenomenal. Thank you so much for alpha testing our game. And most assuredly, that also applies to you, Snails. Thank you so much for running this. You are... Everyone in this chat, with the exception of myself and Cheyenne, obviously, are absolute champions. No, for real. Thank you all so much. We are going to send to the players a feedback survey. I might ask you a couple of pointed questions too at some point, but unless you have any burning questions for me, I'm gonna send you guys back down to audience members, and I'm gonna bring Jaren up here and maybe CJ too, and we're gonna do a little quick Q&A.
Sweet.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, Reed, I loved the music for this. It was so perfect, and it really felt like it made everything just come together. So I just want to say, amazing job.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Thank you.
It was. It was great playing with you guys.
Yes.
Thank you, Snails. That was amazing.
Yes, thank
That
you.
was awesome.
I'm glad you had fun. Thank you.
And now we all call Snails.
Yeah, thank you all. All right. CJ has moved up. Jaren, you should have permissions to move yourself up too.
I sure do.
All right. Hell yeah.
Damn, that was good. I'm feeling pretty stoked about that. That was fabulous. Good work.
That was, you guys absolutely fucking phenomenal it. You killed it.
Mm-hmm.
Reed, what are you still doing up here? Shouldn't you be in the audience now?
Maybe they have a question about music. I don't know.
No, I'm fucking with you. Reed, I love your hat.
My hat? What happened?
No. Thanks, Faust. Hold on.
Oh God.
If anybody has questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. If we don't have any questions, Brad and I have some fun stuff that we can talk about in terms of the design philosophy for this particular adventure that we wrote here.
Yeah. I guess Jaren, you and I were chatting sort of just to as people get their questions in the chat. You and I were chatting during the game a little bit. Was there one thing that you were totally blown back by this group? Totally
just this group operated with incredible efficiency. At a level that I was not prepared for. There are some really tough decisions to make in the game. And we anticipated players to struggle and get stressed, but everyone in this group was like, this is exactly what we're doing. We are all aligned. We know exactly what we want to do. So that was pretty impressive. I have never seen a TTRPG party just unanimously decide things together. That's just not a thing that happens in tabletop role-playing games.
The cohesion here was frankly off the charts. It was nuts. I was not I think especially that last decision, I was not expecting Roberta to so quickly jump into, I'm not going, I'm not doing it. I'm putting my dreams of Olympic gold on the table.
I was also surprised by that. Yeah, Brad, I think you and I sat down and anticipated that entire section to take like 20 minutes. And it was over in like 2 minutes. Everyone was like, I'm not going. It's fine. I know exactly what's going on, and I will lay down my life for my friends. And the love just ran very deep, which was very cool to see.
Snails can confirm this. We actually have a timer set that's supposed to be put up there. But like before Snails could get to the point where it literally says, hey, start the timer, you guys had already decided.
Yeah, it was just done.
It was really fun to sort of see that. Wiggy has a question. Why choose Hex over Grid in terms of movement mechanic?
I know Brad's answer. Brad's answer is because it's better.
Yeah, Brad feels like Hex is more accurately mirrors real life movement. Jaren and I used to go back and forth on the use of squares versus hexes. Also, hexes don't involve you having to do 1.5 math, which is now not a problem as much for me because I did all of that Merca HP balancing. And so I got really good at multiplying by fives. But previous to that, it's sort of frustrating to be like, okay, so I took one diagonal turn here and then to the left and then another diagonal turn, which gets me 10, and et cetera, et cetera. But you guys can talk about that too.
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I absolutely feel the same way. Moving diagonally is a thing that I can do in real life, and it shouldn't be a thing I avoid doing in TTRPGs because I don't want to do math. Like, I've never, like, gone to run forward and to the right and been like, nah, let me run straight and then turn right because it's less complicated that way.
Not since reaching adulthood, anyway. Shy asks, how do you guys come up with the secrets for these characters? I loved Avery, and in both this and Springfield Nocturne, it is so cool hearing the big reveals. We sort of start with one and then work our way around. But like as with everything for CD, it's about grief, right? So when Snails and I were doing the original conceits for characters, we were talking about like what kinds of grief did we maybe not, what kinds of grief would be present uniquely in this situation? What kinds of grief did we not really hit on in Springfield Nocturne? And like, how can we build characters around all that?
Yeah, it's funny that you
up in here,
yeah, it's funny that you liked Avery so much because Avery was the last character we designed, and Avery was actually a replacement. We had another character outlined, ready to go, and it was like the 11th hour of writing the adventure, and Brad was like, hey, you're going to hate me, but what if we just threw this character away completely and did this idea instead? And I was like, you're right, I hate you, but give me the pitch. And then Brad gave me the pitch, and I was like, fuck, it's better. It's way cooler, so we're definitely doing that. No, Brad hits a really valid point here. Grief is a huge central theme for Cthulhu Dreamt, so making every character have sort of a tragedy somewhere in their secret, have some sort of conflicting motivation is something that's very exciting. A lot of inspiration for this mechanic comes from like murder mystery parties where some characters have goals that oppose one another. For example, there is a character that did not get played. The only character that did not get played tonight for this scenario is the character who is hunting the mole, who would have spent their entire play session trying to get after Riley, or trying to, I guess, suss out who might be that mole. A lot of it also is like it's a back and forth process. Like we come up with like an outline for the characters, but we don't dive into writing yet. We write a lot of the adventure. We get a lot of stuff outlined for like what we want to happen and how we want, certain scenes to play out. Then we'll take that back to the character drawing board and say, okay, how can we build on this character concept to make those scenes even more interesting? And in this particular adventure, the scientists kind of evolved with the characters as well. So it was kind of like writing on a carousel where we do a little adventure writing and then do a little character writing, and then that would build the scientists, and then we'd go back to the adventure and add to it, and just round and round and round until Brad and I ran out of time. Because otherwise we would have just kept doing it forever.
That's the action fiction way.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a good question for Reed and Snails. How did you come up with the decision to make the campaign in the first place? From Cod J.
Well, I mean, like the inception of the IP, or
That's sort
or
of-
Relay and March.
I
Because
mean, I think all of it. Can you do like a lightning round version of the IP, and then how? Because it was sort of your original pitch. Like Relay and March started as a little baby thought and your idea.
Yeah, for sure. So the full Cthulhu Dreamt IP really began like a few years ago when I wanted to do a metal project. Nothing to do with game. I wanted to make a metal album of songs that would allow me to process my own trauma, which was having lost a daughter with my wife. And yeah, so like I did that, and like we released the first album, and like things just kept flowing, and like I think within a year and a half, we had 2 albums, and like some point during that, for my creative studio, I had a conversation with Jaren, and I was like, asking questions about Kickstarter, not for Cthulhu Dreamt, something completely different. But then we started talking about Cthulhu Dreamt, and Jaren was like, have you thought about making this a game? And so like now we're here. Like a little conversation brought us here. But yeah, like for our March, for Relay and March, I think what was it, like maybe April, we sat down and we talked about what we want to do or get ready for the launch in August of the Kickstarter. And one of the things that, like, very kind of marketing minded oriented, I was like, can we do a preview encounter that would allow us to justify creating art of Cthulhu? and like, so that was the nugget that birthed this.
Yeah. The thing that I think of when we talk about Relay and March is you mentioned Rogue One, specifically the ending of Rogue One. So when Snails and I were doing sort of the beginning of stuff, and as Jaren jumped into the project more like hands-only, that final decision, the one that y'all fucking blitzed through, didn't even need the timer for, that was sort of like, that has been the heart of this, of Relay and March, since the beginning. The idea that, like, you're going to have to make it. The idea was, what can we create a no-win scenario? And that was sort of like, no, because that sucks if it's a game. It sucks to not be able to win. Can we create an alternate win scenario where you die? And that sort of Rogue One-ish thing was definitely definitely there. I'm trying to move through questions, y'all. Sorry.
Well, and the Rogue One thing too, like, absolutely comes from the fact that none of us believe that if you go up against Cthulhu, you're going to win, right?
Yeah. Okay. Anything else on that before I move on? Going once? Going twice? All right. Cable B asks, wouldn't Hex Grid involve more math for movement? You would think. But because you're sort of surrounded on all sides like a beehive, not so much. JM Walsh asks, is there ever a time when you think players might all be aligned that you just have an offhand huge wrench option the GM might throw in to prevent things from going smoothly? Ooh. It's interesting.
There is a scene like that in this particular adventure that did not play out because of some decisions that got made. But there is a wrench throwing moment that can happen if players make a different decision. I'm happy to talk about it, but like, spoiler warning ahead. So like, this is the moment to mute me if you don't want to hear some other things that can happen in this particular adventure. In this particular adventure, at the beginning, when Avery had to decide whether or not to purge the biolab with Dr. Rightfield. If Avery doesn't purge the biolab and lets all those animals live, later on in the adventure, when everyone stops to eat with Andovich, a creature escapes during the role play while everyone's having conversation and like deciding whether they're going to go over the mountains or through the valley. A creature that was in the biolab managed to escape and grabs Linus and eats it in front of Rightfield. and this makes Rightfield go catatonic. That's his best friend in the world, and now he's dead. And this is so heartbreaking to Rightfield that he spends the rest of the adventure completely silent, has basically no will to live, and then when it comes time to decide who is going to get on the ship, Rightfield just refuses. He says, "No, I'm not going to go on the ship. There's nothing for me out there in the world. I refuse." And the players have the challenge of trying to convince him or letting him stay on the ship, or letting him stay on relay.
Yeah.
Spoiler warning lifted.
Yeah. You can take your fingers out of your ears now, guys. I think that a situation where everyone is working together makes a lot of sense in the same way that an all co-op game makes sense, right? Is like it's fun for a while. It's also sort of the typical TTRPG. Not typical here sounds diminutive, but it's not meant to be. And so it's fun sometimes to write like, yeah, you don't like this character. In Springfield Nocturne, I guess spoiler warning for that. There are two characters, one character that really likes another character and one character that does not. And seeing them interact is one of my very favorite things in the world. And so like, it's fun to do both, I guess is what I'm getting at. All right. I'm moving us forward. I'm moving at a somewhat strange pace, but that's just how I live my life.
You got it.
B asks, how does replayability work with these one-shots? Since I've already known the secrets of the characters, would I be able to play it again, or would it come with different secrets to choose? We tried to design with replayability in mind. That's why every time you guys made a decision, there was typically another path that it could have gone. So like you could choose to go over the Shipcatcher Mountains. Everyone's going to play things differently. So, you know, we might have a Roberta that is more attached to getting the goal. We might have a Max that doesn't like hiding his love and is just going to shout it out to the world. We might have a Quinn who doesn't admit that they don't have an engineering degree halfway through. The replayability comes from there, but you're right. There is a certain amount of, because it's a TTRPG, sort of non-metagaming that has to happen.
Yeah, the kind of lift to that is, rather than doing replayability, the nice thing about these kind of spin-off stories that we're telling is that instead of replaying it, if you wanted, you can pick up these characters and continue their story. If that's something you wanted to do, you can work some of them. We include an epilogue section at the end of these adventures that kind of explains, like, here's how you might take these characters and work them back into the main campaign where everyone's playing custom-built characters and things like that. So that lets you kind of like continue that story, even if it's not necessarily replaying the same story.
For sure. Here's a question for Snails. Snails, if your voice is not too hurt from all the fantastic GMing you did, how did you come up with all these freaking puzzles for the ARG? A lot of them were legit brain melters.
I have ADHD, so I hyperfixate real good.
Hell yeah.
Snails melted their brain.
Yeah. Truthfully, I just kind of went down a rabbit hole, and I think the big thing that I wanted to do that I wasn't really able to accomplish with the ARG, puzzle wise, was I wanted to find a way. I asked myself this question like at the very beginning. Find a way to represent a word with just a square. And I was like, is there a way that I can create a square or like a sequence of squares that's just like one square and it represents a word, and so you can have a sequence of squares that all represent a word? And that question drove me a little delulu, if we're being frank. So that's where a lot of the puzzle inspiration came from, was trying to find a way to convey the English language with as little information as humanly possible. And then like in thinking that, I also stumbled on like, well, what if I, instead of like visual glyphs, what if I use sound? And Reed can attest that there was a day where I basically I called him up and I was like, Reed, I just need to ask you a whole bunch of music theory questions, and we discussed how the music worked, and I got like a a beginner's 101 college crash course in music theory, most of which I had forgotten since.
Me too.
But that's mostly it. It was just like I set myself a challenge, and I wanted to see how I could beat that challenge, and I did eventually like find a way to represent a word with just a square using pixels and color saturation, but it was a little too out there for the ARG. Because if I gave you guys just a sequence of squares with like ever so slightly desaturated pixels in it, I don't think anybody would have got that.
So you're saying the ARG
I certainly
could have been
wouldn't have.
harder.
Yeah,
Yes.
and for them to be thankful, really. Sick. Okay, Wiggy asked, "Do you have to justify that sort of thing?" I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what this is in reference to. No.
Nice. Next question.
Are there puzzles in the campaign? We have not fully written the campaign yet. That's going to be Jaren, CJ, me, and Snails, and probably some other people joint. There will be puzzles. In fact, the whole approach in Cthulhu Dreamt, but Sojourn, which is the name of the system that we appended for Cthulhu Dreamt, is everything should be a puzzle. You guys burned a bunch of the trees, but like it's designed in such a way that you theoretically don't have to attack them at all to get through it, right? It's sort of an escape puzzle there. A lot of the puzzles in this game were about your carrying capacity. So happy you guys decided to take the power armor, by the way. We loved throwing that in there. Yeah, there will definitely be puzzles in the campaign. All right, scrolling down.
Sorry, I just want to touch a little bit more on that. One of the things that Snails does really well, and Snails, I'll really just pass off to you, but all of the creatures are designed as puzzles as well. Like every creature, the combat in Cthulhu Dreamt it's not like D&D combat where you're just beating the hell out of a health bar until it gets to 0. Every creature is like a puzzle to solve.
Yeah, you can kind of think of it like a little bit in terms of like Resident Evil, right? Like limited carrying capacity, like and like especially with the early games specifically, like 1, 2, and 3. 3 is a really good example where like the Nemesis shows up and it's a big scary monster, but it's not like necessarily something that you're supposed to kill. It's more something you're supposed to deal with and get around. Same thing with Mr. X in number 2. And so I draw a lot of inspiration from those early Resident Evil games to like try and make creatures something that you deal with more than necessarily fight. And like they could have, the gang could have like stood there and shot at the trees, and like there's a target number that they could have hit, and like there's a total amount of physical stress and stuff. But that you saw like Reed starting fire because like fire bad. And because of that, he was able to like deal with the trees in a way that was more
traditional.
I'm looking for untraditional, but like effective, I would say. It was more effective to give them a different source of carbon dioxide to hunt after than necessarily blast at them with a gun.
Yeah. Anything else on that? For once, twice. Sold. All right, Reed. Do you cite any particular inspiration for the CD soundtrack, specifically Pelican and other post-metal sludgy groups? Sorry.
I have never heard Pelican, but like absolutely, like Gojira, Mastodon, Igor. Like I know, like thinking through the main campaign soundtrack, which like all of the cinematic pieces so far, like there's a lot of music written already, but I know like instances where like this is very Tool like. I love Tool. This one's very like Igor like. This one is very Hans Zimmer, like could be straight out of Dune. Like this, like there's definitely the bands that influence how I write. Like the heavy metal track that played during this campaign To me, it's very doomy, but it also has some very like Gojira-esque techniques in it. So yeah, thank you for the question.
Yeah. I lost my place. Oh, Reed fucking kills it with the music, as you all heard, by the way. Yeah, it's amazing. Shy asked, "Is there a part of the campaign you guys are most looking forward to writing now that the Kickstarter is over?" Without spoilies. I cannot believe you made me say spoilies with my own mouth.
I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled about this. I have a scene that I'm very excited to write. I have to think about how to accurately describe this particular scene without spoiling things. There is a scene where gravity doesn't do what you think it's going to do. Okay. And the way it plays out narratively is such a cool twist reveal. And the location that immediately comes after that, this means nothing to anybody that's listening to this. The location that immediately comes after that is so bizarre. It's so strange. The lighting, the way it's described is so otherworldly. And I am super fucking stoked to write this, just to describe it. Like I can see it so vividly in my head. I cannot wait to get art done for it. I wish I could animate it into a short film because it's so very, very cool. It's right about the midpoint of the campaign, and it also comes shortly before or after one of the biggest plot twists in the campaign as well. So that whole section of the campaign is just going to be such a fucking roller coaster ride.
Yeah, I don't know that I have anything specific I'm looking forward to writing. Looking forward to writing all of it. I will not be writing all of it. That would be too much work. Looking forward to writing whatever I end up writing. I think the beginning is something I'm sort of intrigued by. There's a lot of opportunity there, I think, to impact the rest of the game. And whether I end up writing it or someone else does, or we end up doing it jointly, it's going to be something that's going to take a lot of narrative engineering, which is something that I really enjoyed. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
CJ?
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, my bad.
I have not been thinking about writing at all.
Nice.
We've had the Kickstarter, and then there was the ARG, and so most of my narrative brain went to the ARG with a. It's a little behind the scenes baseball. We had a lot more planned for the ARG that we just weren't able to implement due to time constraints and other such things. One including was a comic book that we wanted to try and get done, but just for reasons we weren't able to do. So a lot of my narrative brain was focused there. So I haven't really been thinking about the main campaign, but once we sit down here in like a week or two and go over the outline again, I'm sure there'll be something that sparks some interest.
Hey, sorry, I was thinking about writing right now and actually missed the question.
The question was if there's
sucks,
anything,
dude.
if there's anything main campaign or otherwise that you're just very particularly excited about writing. CJ, I know you and I have talked a little bit about the adventure that you're writing. If you wanted to kind of like give the overhead pitch for that, because I'm very excited for you to write that.
I had two adventures that I wanted to pitch writing for side adventures. The one that you and I are talking about is we're thinking about writing an adventure that takes place entirely on the moon and is like the after effects of how Cthulhu rising out of the ocean would impact like the astronauts living on a moon base essentially. I don't know if I want to go much further than that. I don't want to like spoil anything, but
Yeah, no, you don't have to.
I
My
think
brain goes
that's
burr
great,
at the Cthulhu Dreamt moon base. Like that makes my brain like vibrate a lot.
Yeah. I think I'm looking forward to writing a side story that is like just survival based and doesn't like not trying to poo-poo on our creatures, but something that doesn't have to include a creature feature that is just about like not dying from natural causes.
Mm-hmm.
Good old
makes-
moon natural causes.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy to hear that, because I don't know what these guys are all talking about, behind, like, when I'm not in a meeting or whatever. And I don't know how deep people have listened to like podcasts and interviews and stuff, but when Jaren and I got together to start this process for them to take over and start building the game, I had a pre-built world document that I had been working on, and one of the locations is the moon, and I was like, so to hear that you're talking about an adventure on the moon is like, ooh.
Is that the exact sound it makes?
Ooh. I'll do it all night.
Yeah, you will. All right. Loving the conversation. Do got to move on. Would you say that what makes this format unique is the utilization of human abilities? Yes. That's a great way to phrase what makes Sojourn so cool. Because as opposed to your classic TTRPGs where you've got a stat and that stat has a bonus, and anytime you get to use that stat bonus, blah, 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 you instead have unique human people that get better at handling the bullshit, but don't ever become gods. And the way they get better at becoming bullshit is by utilizing their human ability, humanness.
Get better at becoming bullshit is my new catchphrase.
Yes, so I would say that's a great way to phrase it. Someone talking about the ARG.
Oh, I just want to touch too. The other thing that makes
Yeah.
the system so unique is the goals that we do. With every character, including when you write your own characters, you'll have goals. So rather than a traditional leveling system where you just kill a bunch of monsters to level up or hit explicit milestones, you can also gain your kind of like level up points by setting a character goal and then achieving it. And if that character goal, it could be anything too. It can be like, wow, my character really wants to save somebody's life. Maybe they're atoning for past actions. Maybe they're an adrenaline junkie and they just want to be the hero, but they want to save somebody's life. And then they do that. You've achieved that goal. You get some of those points. So that makes it very narrative focused. And it also keeps the players and the facilitator in a constant dialogue as they're telling the story, where the facilitator knows what the player's goals are and can kind of take the story in that direction and give them chances to achieve those goals. It also makes players really engage with their characters. So I absolutely love that system, and I think it's pretty unique.
Yeah. I love what you've said about in conversation, because what you're talking about is they're in conversation long term, and that's so important. But Sojourn also does a great job of making sure that you're in conversation short term, like in the here and now. You saw Snails do it a little bit, but it might have, like, if you're not looking for it, it might be something you missed. But basically you say, here's a thing, here's the TN, how do you want to do that thing? As opposed to, like, give me a strength roll, right? And what that does is that keeps you in that conversation with the facilitator, with your players, both long-term and short-term. And I, like, that gets to the heart of what TTRPGs are, I think. Why they're so fucking important. So, yes to that. I'm going to stop talking now because I've been talking for a while. Okay, we are officially caught up. You guys want to do another question from our list?
Yeah. Throw one
All
out
right,
there,
let's
Bag.
do one more, and then if there's any more in the chat, we'll answer those. But otherwise, it's about 9:30, so we might. Where's our list go? Jaren,
in a DM with me. Here, I got you, Brad. Don't even worry about it. I'm gonna
thank
ask
you,
them
friend.
right
I'm
after.
looking at our DMs, and they're not there.
What was
Well,
the
they are there, but I
design?
can't
What was the design philosophy for specifically for Relay and March? Why is Relay and March the way that it is?
How can I be mean to players I will never meet?
I mean, that's completely against the whole, I think, in a lot of ways. But no, that's true. Go ahead.
It's not untrue.
Mhm.
We wanted to make it. This is sort of going to be the most, like, super well equipped for anything that you're ever going to be in Cthulhu Dreamt, right? Like, you are elite edge troopers, you have access to all this equipment, et cetera, et cetera. And so we wanted to play into that. We mentioned the Rogue One stuff earlier. But we also wanted to, and I'll let you talk about this, Jaren, because I think this is a point that's important to you. Humanize the Edge Troopers.
Boy, howdy, how I'm so excited for you to have thrown that my way. You're totally right. In Cthulhu Dreamt, in the world, it's pretty clear that Saline Wealth is like, they're kind of a bad guy, right? A super military corporation that does all kinds of shady research and human experimentation is very rarely going to be perceived as the good guy. And what I really wanted to do with these characters is kind of give a real world spin on Saline Wealth, right? It's very easy to see antagonists in tabletop RPGs as just like cartoonishly evil. They're just bad. They're bad for the sake of being bad. And I think that removes a lot of the depth and nuance that I like to have in a lot of the things that I write. So I really wanted to show how like there are things that Saline Wealth is doing that are bad. There are things that Saline Wealth is doing that are good. And the philosophy that Brad and I were using behind the scenes was that these big evil corporations in real life get away with what they do because they do the good things loudly and the bad things quietly. And so all of the badness that Saline Wealth does happens in the shadows. It doesn't really get a lot of public attention, but then meanwhile they're donating to charities and giving people these second chances and rescuing prisoners from death sentences, and on the surface it can be very easy for people in the real world to buy into that. And this adventure gives us a chance to see like who would possibly work for Saline Wealth, this super evil corporation. You read these characters and you get to see like, damn, like they've got families that they're trying to take care of, which that sort of touches on the whole like you can't exist in a capitalistic world without participating in it at some level. And you get to ask that question of like, how involved do you get before you are also the bad guy? So I mean, I could talk for like hours and hours on this particular subject, but it was very fun to explore Edge Troopers and put players in the shoes of Edge Troopers and let them experience like what that would be like and why they would want to do the things that they do.
Yeah, I remember there being a lot of discussions about what is too loud of a thing and what is too quiet of a good thing for them to do, and like, are we putting too much good in, or are we putting too much bad in there? I think when I think about those discussions, I think about like, this is going to sound very pretentious to me, but like 19th, early 20th century, like salons where they would just sit back and be like, well, what about this? Is this a fucked up thing to do? And like just throw morality ideas back and forth at each other. Sort of like ancient Greek. You're just sitting around debating philosophy, and we spent a lot of time trying to get that just right. And I really think we hit something with that. All right, I'm going to move on to the next question unless somebody has anything else. All right, sweet. Have you guys ever actually considered using a D20? Or in other words, what led you to make the D12 your main die? Was there another reason other than more chances of crits? Actually, I wonder if Adam is still on the call. Adam has a great answer to this. But
Adam
basically, when Adam was making Sojourn forever ago, he found that with the ability points, using a D12 didn't move the dial far enough in your favor, right? So like if you rolled crappy on a D20 roll, if it's a DC 15 and you got a 5, you fucked. But then any lower die moved it too much. On a D10, if you're maxing out a D10, it's not enough, right? It makes the AP too powerful. With a D12, you sort of hit that Goldilocks spot. Additionally, the D12 is a fucking fantastic die. I'm a big fan of the D12. I get weirdly big eyes when I talk about it, apparently. But that came off rather aggressive. But like the D12, one of the things I'm finding is that as more people play this, and as I listen to more of the playtests that are done, as I listen to more people talk about it, they're always like, "Yeah, I love the D12." but it sits at the back of my dice box, and I don't get a chance to use it unless I'm the barbarian. So getting to use the D12 for the system is a lot of fun. Yeah, we love the D12. Anybody else want to throw something in there? It does add to more crits, but crits in both directions.
Yeah, I like the dramatic narrative that the D12 brings in because there are so many more crits. In fact, this adventure that we just ran has a special thing that happens where if you crit fail in the adventure, you move slower, and the slower you move throughout the adventure, the fewer spots are available on the boat at the end. If the players were to have made a bunch of mistakes or rolled very poorly when they got to the end, there's a chance that there's only one spot left on the boat. And so they have to pick one of the scientists or one of the players to go, and everyone else has to stay. So that's kind of one of the secret back-end mechanics that's at play in this adventure.
That ending also makes that does not change how difficult the final drive the boat check is. Sorry, it does not change the TN. It makes it more difficult though. Yeah. Anyone else want to jump in on the D12 before we move on? Great. All right. Shai says, my last one. Since you're all taking a little mental health break, and I want you to be able to hold you workaholics accountable. All right. What are you going to do for some self-care relaxation before you dig back into things?
I'm going to write some Cthulhu Dreamt content, you know?
You motherfucker! That is not what you're supposed to do. That's the opposite of what you. There's one thing you can't do during this break, and it's that.
I don't know. I'm really bad at relaxing. So usually when the time comes and I have to do it, I have to rely on my friends and the other folks at Action Fiction to hold me accountable. And then I wind up just fucking going on bike rides and playing video games and stuff, which is a bad thing because then I wind up getting inspired. And then I want to do more writing, and I'm just irresponsible. I'm creatively irresponsible. Somebody stop me.
Yeah, actually, that was going to be mine. Is I'm going to spend a lot of time making sure you're not working.
It's appreciated, Brad.
Thanks. I'm going to keep looking for daytime employment, but I also am going to spend a lot of my time being, hey, Jaren, are you working? And I'm anticipating a lot of, no.
Fine working.
Yeah. Reed?
Working on other projects.
Are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to do that?
No, you are not allowed to do that.
No.
I was only told to take a break from Cthulhu. Nobody ever said anything about other stuff.
Yeah, who's in charge here anyway? Who told us that we had to take a break? Damn.
I did. You're not allowed to work on other shit.
Oh, really? Oh. I guess practice guitar.
Yeah, there you go. I will allow that.
I'll practice writing.
As emperor of your life. Nope. See, I let you have an inch and you take a mile.
Yeah.
Snails?
Yeah, snails.
I'm gonna sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, God, sleep. I took a nap before this play test. I'm not even gonna lie.
CJ?
I'm gonna be doing what I've been doing for the last week. I'm gonna play Starfield for the next 7 years.
Starfield is gonna be the new Skyrim. It's just they're gonna re-release it 12 times. It's gonna be
Yeah.
All right.
Can't wait for Starfield on my refrigerator.
But I am also actually at the end of my vacation, so I'm probably going to try and cover for Jaren while he's taking a break.
Oh, my fucking hero. That means that CJ's also going to be holding me responsible.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to skim for any additional questions, but it's looking like all of them are just directed at each other. So I think we're going to call it there, guys. It's about 9:45. Thank you all so much for tuning into our Q&A. Feel free to keep talking. You probably can't use this particular chat, but you can move over to CD discussion or something. Even general. Thank you so much to Snails again for running this fantastic thing and doing so fantastically. Thank you, Reed. Thank you, Jaren. Yeah, that's it. Thank you, CJ, too.
No.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. We're going to head out. Peace.
Later, gang.